Iran's role in global paleoclimatic studies and its importance in understanding past climatic changes. Then I try to share with you the key research questions in Iran, of course, in my opinion, and then a summary of significant studies will be presented. I will try to highlight important studies conducted in Iran. Finally, I introduced our upcoming research project. Well, Iran is located at the heart of the desert belt. Desert belt is characterized by several distinct climatic and environmental features. This belt is characterized by low precipitation, which receives minimal rainfall, contributing to its arid condition. High continentality. There is a significant temperature variations between day and night, as well as between seasons. High evaporation rates, high dust emissions, thanks to several major deserts in this area, such as Sahara, Levant, Arabia, and Kavir and Lut in Iran. Low vegetation cover and extreme temperatures, also wind erosions. So Iran is at the heart of this desert belt. As you can see on the map, the Iranian plateau stands out from the global desert belt due to its distinctive relief. This unique morphology results in several notable characteristics. First, orographic precipitation. High mountain ranges trap moisture, leading to increased precipitation on the windward slopes. Second, snow cover. Persistent snow cover in high altitude regions is crucial for maintaining sustainable water sources through gradual meltwater release. Third, intramountain basins and plains. These formations create unique ecological zones and influence local climate patterns. The fourth characteristic is microclimates. The diverse topography results in a variety of microclimates, each with distinct temperature and precipitation characteristics. The fifth is arid interior deserts. Extensive dry and hot deserts in the interior regions contribute to the overall aridity of the country. And next, um, these orography make natural barriers. Mountain ranges and deserts act as natural barriers, affecting human settlement patterns and connectivity. The distinctive orography of Iran is shaped by its geological setting. The country is compressed by the movement of the Eurasian plate from the north and the Arabian plate from the south, leading to the formation of two main mountain ranges, Alborz in north and Zagros in southwest. This convergence also results in several critical landforms that influence Iran's climate. The first is the formation of foreland basins of the Persian Gulf and Mesopotamian basins. Second is zonal lithological variations and the formation of central Iranian mountains that are very critical in supplying waters for the drylands of central Iran. The third is the formation of Zagros and Alborz mountain, as I told you, that trap the moistures from the west and north. And finally, the isolation of the Caspian Sea from open oceans around 2.5 million years ago, that has an important regional moisture source. With this brief introduction, So Iran's geographical setting, let's explore its importance in global paleoclimate studies. Iran is influenced by three main climatic systems: Mediterranean winter system from the west, Siberian high pressure from the northeast, and Indian Ocean summer monsoon from the southeast. The interplay between these systems had shaped Iran's climate and influenced ancient societies on the Iranian plateau. Key factors Key factors include interaction between Indian Ocean summer monsoon and mid latitude westerlies, that seasonal dynamics impact precipitation patterns and temperature variations. The second is dynamics of Siberian high. Expansion and retraction of Siberian high affect winter temperature and precipitation, especially in northern and northeastern Iran. The third is meridional migration of the Intertropical Convergence Zone, ITCZ, that affects seasonal rainfall distribution, particularly in the south and southeast. And moreover, a latitudinal migration of mid-latitude westerlies that influence weather patterns, bringing moisture and affecting temperature gradients.
हाँ भैया
The prevailing climate
हाँ
systems over Iran, combined with its varied
हाँ
topography, result in several major climatic districts. The boundaries of these districts can shift over time due to the
क्या
dynamic interplay between the
हाँ
major
ठीक है
climatic systems.
हाँ ठीक
These climatic provinces are
हाँ ठीक
the first is in northwest of Iran,
हम्म
that is characterized by the Mediterranean winter spring precipitation. Second is the west and
अच्छा
central Iran, that is dominated by Mediterranean winter precipitation. The
तो
third
क्या
is the Persian Gulf coast, that exhibiting tropical
अच्छा मतलब बोला सूट से नहीं बन जाएगा
featuring a tropical desertic hyper-arid climate with summer precipitation. In central Iran,
बिल्कुल ज़्यादा लग
it
रहा है पहले सर से हम बात कर लीजिए वो कितना बोल रहा है
and finally
हम्म
Caspian coast, that is
वो तो
known
कोई
for its
मानते लोग
temperate
ये वाला बोल के हाँ हाँ LSR वाला कितना है
Iran's diverse environments host a multitude of ethnic groups, each with
ठीक
distinct traditions and customs adapted to their
बोला
unique
के
surroundings. This
LSR
environmental
से पूछ लेना
diversity
LSR
has
वाला
led to
कितना
various innovative practices and lifestyles and
हाँ
could be a good example of human environment
हाँ ऑनलाइन
relationship.
लेगा फोन पे नंबर दे चाहे बात
For
कर
example, nomadic lifestyle, more practice in
हाँ
mountains
हाँ हाँ
areas.
हाँ जे नंबर से
People
बात
in
होती है वही
these
नंबर बोलते हैं
areas migrate seasonally between plains and
हाँ
mountains to optimize grazing and living conditions.
ठीक
Or, for example, architectural innovations such as wind catchers and wind catchers. That is very smart architectural element designed to capture and direct wind for natural cooling, particularly Qanat, that is an ancient underground tunnel that transport water from aquifer in foothills of the mountains to the surface of the cultivable plains and are essential for irrigation and drinking in arid areas. The other innovation is Caravanserai. Caravanserai is a roadside inn that established along trade routes to provide shelter and supplies for travelers and their animals. facilitated long distance trade across the dry region. The other innovation was rainwater reservoirs, that is, sophisticated system for harvesting and storing rainwater in desert areas to ensure water availability during dry period. Well, the mountainous nature of the country and very diverse lithology of Iran offers a wealth of paleoclimatic archives that provide valuable insights into its past climate. These archives include written records and artifacts from ancient civilizations, offer clues about historical climate conditions and their impact on human societies. Forests in north and west of Iran and very old trees scattered all around the country make it possible for tree ring analysis. Cave deposits or speleothems are frequent in Iran thanks to its extensive carbonate formations and karstification. Intramountain wetlands and lakes preserve layers of organic and inorganic materials that can be analyzed to infer past environmental conditions. Uh, Iran actually is the paradise of playas. These dry lake beds, the dry bed of these lakes provide sedimentary records that indicate historical hydrological and climatic changes. And coastal sediments, marine deposits, and coral reefs also offer information on sea level changes, coastal erosion, and past marine condition. With these rich paleoclimatic archives, we can answer some refined questions that could be addressed by paleoclimatic studies in Iran. Um, the first important question is about the intertropical convergence zone that has migrated meridionally through geological time. However, the northernmost limit of the intertropical convergence zone is not detected yet. Iran is situated at the north of the ITCZ and could be a good place for this topic. Many researchers refer to the interplay between the Indian Ocean summer monsoon and westerlies over time, and it is very important precipitation regime and drought history. Iran is situated between these two systems. The third question is about a neolithization process that happened in the Mesopotamia at the foothills of the Zagros mountain. This process is co-evolved with the onset of interglacial epoch of Holocene, studying the paleoclimatic archives of Zagros transitions in this region, such as the demise of Akkadians in Mesopotamia and transforming the Bronze Age to Iron Age and changing the lifestyle of West Asian people. The next question is about the major climatic changes over the last 2,000 years and its impacts on human societies, especially geopolitical and political transformations. The next question that is very important in paleoclimatic stuff, that is the largest lake on Earth and its relationship with climatic variability is very important. Its role in regional and global economy it makes it crucial to understand its future trends of oscillations and other establishment of state level societies in southern Mesopotamia around 6,000 years ago. Impacts of the Holocene climatic fluctuations on ancient agricultural practices in Iran, or the role of climatic changes in the rise and demise of ancient civilization in Iranian plateau, are other questions that are important. To answer the aforementioned questions, some studies have been conducted that are presented here. Um, about the northernmost limit of the intertropical convergence zone, a flightman examined the meridional migration of the intertropical convergence zone using speleothems from Oman and Yemen, and demonstrated that during the early Holocene, up to 6,000 years ago, it extended to northern Oman. In Iran, many researchers have observed concurrent changes in climate variables. However, these studies have not yet determined the northernmost position of the intertropical convergence. The next question is about the Indian Ocean summer monsoon and the westerlies interplay through the time. The mechanistic relationships between the Indian Ocean summer monsoon and the mid-latitude westerlies was effectively demonstrated by Gupta using marine sediments from the Indian Ocean. Many researchers in Iran have linked their observations to this mechanism, illustrating how the precipitation regime has changed over time. They have documented environmental impacts such as vegetation and hydrological changes in Iran due to the interplay between these two systems. Given Iran's strategic position, there is significant potential for further investigations into this relationship and its impacts. Well, the next question is about the Siberian high dynamics. The role of the Siberian high the role of the Siberian high dynamics and the climate of the West Asia and its influence on the interplay between the mid latitude westerlies and Indian Ocean summer monsoon is largely unknown. Recently, we examined the impacts of the Siberian high dynamics on the Caspian Sea level changes and highlighted the importance of the system in global climate variability. The strength and position of the Siberian Har are crucial for precipitation patterns in Western Asia systems of Indian Ocean summer monsoon and mid-latitude westerlies. The neolithization process and human lifestyle are closely related to climatic conditions, though the exact mechanisms and timing remain unclear. The Zagros Mountains, as a crucial water Mesopotamia, represent a key region for these kinds of studies. Numerous Neolithic sites are located in Zagros, near water sources and paleoclimatic archives, including the globally renowned, well-known Zaribab Lake. Many studies in Iran have demonstrated the synchronicity between the Neolithization and climatic changes, but further research is needed to deepen our understanding. What about the Caspian Sea level changes and climate variability following the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991? Caspian studies flourished. Since then, many studies have focused on understanding the reasons behind Caspian Sea level changes, which are essential for predicting future fluctuations. The relationship between climate and Caspian Sea level is evident in the rates of the precipitation and low latitudes. Numerous studies have demonstrated the connection between sea level fluctuations and climatic drivers such as solar activity. Well, although many researchers have reconstructed the early Holocene Persian Gulf flooding using models, very few studies present physical evidence. In our recent work, we have pinpointed the exact data of the early Holocene flooding using a wide range of proxies from two sediment cores in the Persian Gulf. Other researchers have reported the impacts of this flooding in coastal areas in, for example, United Arab Emirates,
ओहो
Qatar, or
अरे
Iran.
महाराज आप आके बोलो पता है क्या बोल रही है चलिए आई
Actually,
वांट
understanding the
सॉरी
Persian
आई
Gulf
बी वर्किंग
flooding is
प्लेस
crucial
अब हम
for
कंफ्यूज हो गए हम क्या
comprehending
बोले
the
उसको
history of long distance sailing,
देख
for
ली
example.
देख ली
Additionally, the flooding's impact at regional
एक्चुअली इसका
climate
कैमरा
and
जो है
wind
ना
regime is very
ऐसे आता है ठीक है
significant.
आप यहाँ पर यहाँ पर
The
थे
last two millennia
उसको डाउट हो
are
गया
of
जब हम ऑफिस
great
में हैं
importance in understanding the
फिर नो नो नो
relationship
सर
between
नो इश्यू
climatic
यू कैन
changes and
डाटा उस चक्कर में देखिए
socioeconomic
गड़बड़
and
ईमेल लिखा गया फिर
sociopolitical.
उसको बोल रहे हैं अब आ सकते हैं कैमरा बंद किए हुए हैं देखिए पहला ईमेल गड़बड़ हो गया फिर उसको बोल रहे हैं नहीं नहीं ये हमारा सही ईमेल है इस पर भेजिए
Modern nation states began to
हमसे
emerge.
बतिया रहे थे वो कर रही थी
The impacts of climatic changes on governance, border dynamics, and the
बट वही
rise and
दिखाते हैं
fall of countries
के
and
दिखाते हैं स्क्रीन
empires
से
is a
नहीं
fascinating
होता है
subject that is attracting increasing attention.
ये मैडम
We have demonstrated the role of climate change in such transformations in cases like, for
इससे
example,
ज्यादा जूम नहीं
the late Antiquitol Ice Age and the
अमेरिका से
medieval war period in Iran.
हाँ
But certainly it needs
अमेरिका
more
से
and
है
more
बांग्लादेश से
studies.
आदमी है ईरान से अभी ईरान से आदमी इसमें
And
हमको ना
finally, in my final slide, I would
200
like
आदमी
to
फॉर्म भरा
introduce
था
our
उसमें से
recently
30 गो को
initiated
चुना है
project
तो उसमें हम हूँ
founded by the Swiss National
मतलब
Science
इसमें
Foundation.
साइंस
This
दा होता है
project is
जिसमें
named Mitra
मतलब पढ़ने लिखने में
after the Indo-Iranian
तो पूरा
deity
ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड से
who is the
तब में से
protector
20
of truth and
हाँ
the
तो एगो
guardian
हमनी है
of
भारत से
cattle, the harvest, and water. This project
मतलब
will
हम अकेले नहीं
examine
हैं
a
भारत से
wide range of
तकरीबन
archives
10 हुआ है
from
10 में से
marine sediments to terrestrial ones. The project is led by
आज
Swiss
लास्ट डे
and
है
French
परसों भी
universities
आए
with
थे ये भी आए
collaborations
थे
from
आज भी आए
scientists in Iran, Iraq, and Turkey.
जो आवाज नहीं जा रहा है
It covers a 2,000 kilometers transect along
हंस
the
रही है मतलब
Zagros
कुछ तो जरूर
Mountain
बात हो
and
रहा है
aims to explore the relationship between climatic changes and human
नहीं
development in the cradle of civilization. We will employ various proxies and methods, including geochemistry, palynology, and modeling.
ये कैमरा एक्चुअली ऐसे आता है
And I
अब
hope that this
जहाँ पे
study will
जितना जाएगा ना
foster
सब कुछ
regional
दिखेगा
and international collaboration in studying the human
नहीं नहीं आप यहाँ पर
environment
जैसा भी है ना यहाँ
relationship
पर आपको
and
दिखता है बस
extend
वहाँ काम
this type
कीजिए
of research
उधर जाइए नहीं
with our Indian colleagues.
यहाँ पर अब धीरे से
Well,
कोई भी
thank you very much for your attention. I regret that I couldn't present this presentation in person
ओहो
and interact directly with my young scientist colleagues and esteemed Indian professors. For any inquiries or further discussion on our mutual interest, please feel free to contact me at the following email addresses.
हाँ
Have a good time. Thank you
हंस
again.
रही थी हंस रही थी बोले थे आर यू इन ऑफिस
Thank you. It was a wonderful
आपके
presentation. He took us back in time and spoke about the reconstruction and human civilization changing. I think these things are very interesting for Indian subcontinental as well when we talk about the agriculture activity when they initiated in India. So especially our Indus Valley civilization, we also got the about 12,000 years before present agriculture activity started there also. And they were the Iranians who started moving towards the eastern side. So probably maybe like as he says that the Holocene time was flooded, probably that could be one of the reasons that these people started shifting towards towards the eastern side, or it was a drought because of due to that they started. It's really a very interesting thing to connect these dots together. So I can only thank him in person. I will tell him the thanks for such a wonderful presentation. So we will move ahead. And the second speaker of the day is Professor Madan Lal Shrestha. He is an academician at Nepal Academy of Sciences and Technology with PhD degree in meteorology from University of Hawaii, USA. He served as a Director General of the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, Nepal, and he had been the permanent representative of Nepal to World Meteorological Organization. He has been a focal point of Nepal to Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, IPCC, and contributed to the working group of the third assessment report of IPCC in producing the publication on climate change, impact, adaptation, and vulnerability. I'm happy to tell you that he is the first Nepali to join the first joint scientific glaciological expedition between Nepal and Japan to explore the snow and glaciers of central Nepal Himalaya. He is the scientific planning group member of Asia Pacific Network for Global Change Research, representing Nepal. He is also the mentor of an advisory board of Journal Scientific Worlds, Nepal, and Journal of Meteorology, Pakistan. His field of research are the meteorology, climate variability, and climate change. So I welcome Professor Shrestha for his insightful presentation. Floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you, Jayashree. Let me see. What is my okay? Okay, let me. Okay. I hope you can see my slides.
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay. Yeah, so this, I'm, first of all, I think I'm very thankful to Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research, Bengaluru, along with Devija Center for Climate Change, ISF. I just would like to go through some of these climate change in the aspect of global and regional. Regional, I mean in the Asian region, in the Hindu Kush region, and then I concentrate on its the climate change in Nepal and how does it react? How does it change with the? How does it affect the summer monsoon, mostly in Nepal? And I would also like to dwell with the role of ENSO in climate in Nepal and the impact in the cryosphere, that means the snow and the glacier field. So I think this, I have borrowed it from the WMO recently. So it had a record of 2023. But I'm, when I look at this, I thought about the climate change denial, the group. I mean, it is so evident from these observations that I think the climate change is the scientific fact. And on top of that, I think the last time we all have heard about the Secretary General of the UN have said that humanity is touching the planet and paying the price. And this price, I think mostly the developing countries and the least developed countries are facing this one. And if we look at the global scale, then I think most of the regions are, recently, is warming. if you look at this, about a couple of years back, 2020. So I think we see a change. Of course, I think this kind of warming, and we all know it is because of the greenhouse enhanced greenhouse effect, I would say, because the greenhouse effect is very, very important for this planet and the life to survive here. But the enhanced greenhouse gases that we are worried about. And when we talk about the greenhouse gases, the 2023 is a record in many things. One is it has recorded, the greenhouse gases at the peak. And, I remember in 2013, when the Mauna Loa Observatory recorded the 400 ppm, CO2, and, there was a big news. And still, and from that day on, still, it is rising. Not only that one, even the methane is rising in a very big rise we see in the methane. So I think in this way, the greenhouse gases is increasing a lot. I think the recent WMO, I think this publication we have seen, from January to September 2024, the temperature of this planet has already, the past 1.5. And that is very worrisome, and which is, I think, if we look at the Paris Agreement, which is very necessary, but I think we are going above that limit that has been put forward by the Paris Agreement. And in the same way, I think we can see the glacier mass, the snow and the glacier mass is decreasing. The glaciers are retreating, and it is decreasing. In the scale of about 10 to 20 meter water equivalent. That kind of the recession is going on, and at the same time, the sea level is rising. And these are some of so I think these are some of the observed fact that has been came out from the WMO, especially for the they just made it for the COP 2029, and very interestingly that the 50% of the days in 2023 marked more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is warmer than the pre-industrial level. I think that is really worrisome. And with that was the global thing. But if we look at also, we talk about the urban flooding. As we see here, some of the houses are just in the middle of the river. So it is because of these urbanizations also. So nowadays, the extreme events, we call it the natural disasters. But I think it became, now we have to rename it as the man-made disasters. And this, I think, we are going to face it almost every year now, this kind of because of the urbanization. And definitely the drought and the heat waves and the forest fire, these are the extreme events that has been affecting all over the world, and which has a really impacts on the mortality, economy, and the food system. In the extreme event, I will also dealt with this glacier outburst flood event a little bit later. So I think if we look at the Hindu Kush Himalayan region, we have in the 10 major river basin which has generated from the Hindu Kush region. So anything that happens in the Hindu Kush region will definitely affect the water resources. And as we know, this water resources is used for many, many uses. And if we look at this, these red triangles, it shows the upward trend of temperature. That means the warming. So almost all the regions is facing this warming trend, and it's more than 0.3 degrees Celsius per decade. And this is what is happening in the regional basis, in the Hindu Kush region. And if we look at in Nepal, This is the maximum temperature, the first one. And what we see, the red part is at the northern part. And these northern Himalayan regions are the, abode of, that is the place of the snow and the glaciers. And as we go to the north, the temperature is rising. And this is a very worrisome, the features that we are seeing. And the same thing we see in the minimum temperature. But I think if we look at the trend, because here I didn't put much in the minimum temperature, I stress in the maximum temperature, and which is rising very, very significantly. If you look at some of the data, it is about, annually, it is about 0.056 degrees Celsius per year. And that is in the maximum. And the minimum it is not rising that significantly, but the maximum temperature is very, very significant, rising. And regarding the precipitation, I think there is not much. It shows a little bit of a decline, but it's not statistically significant. So we don't have that much of a trend in the precipitation. And when we talk about the precipitation in Nepal, we receive most of our precipitation during the summer monsoon, that is namely from June to September. And interestingly, when we look at the monsoon onset date in Nepal, so it is decreasing. That means we are having the early monsoon. And if we look at the monsoon withdrawal, significantly we see the rise. That means the late withdrawal of the monsoon, which resulted in the monsoon, the increase in the monsoon period, and which is very significant. So by 2023, 2022, 23, so we have about 130 days of monsoon period, and this is the reason. And during this period, the monsoon period, this year, especially in the 2024, we have a very highest 24-hour precipitation recorded, over 624 millimeter in 24 hours. And this broke the record of 1993, where we have the highest rainfall of 540 millimeter. And this is in the amount. But if we look at the type of the precipitation, because of the change in the climatic system, what we are finding that in the higher altitude where we used to have the snowfall, but now we are getting the rainfall. So that kind of a change in the type of precipitation is very, very crucial and very, very important for the sustenance of the snow and glacier. Because if we have more precipitation in the form of rain, then the glaciers and the snow are going to melt much faster. So that was what we have been seeing in the monsoonal system. But what we saw that we have the very significant impact of the ENSO in climate in Nepal. And as we know that, 2023, we had this El Nino up to, the January of 2024. Then after that, it receded. And correspondingly, we see the OLR anomalies, showing the convective activity here. And as we know all that during the El Nino period, the convective area shifts, as shown by this OLR in this region. And but in the normal case, we have in the the Western Pacific regions, so we have the lots of convective activity with the dry off the coast of the South America in the Tahiti region. So this is the normal picture, but how this ENSO is going to affect in Nepal? So what? Because when we talk in meteorology, southern oscillations is much more relevant in the sense more than the more than the temperature of the Pacific. But I think as we look at the ENSO, this is the beautiful example of the ocean atmospheric interaction. So when we look at this Southern Oscillation Index, it has a very good relationship with the rainfall. When we have the negative SOI, then we have less precipitations, and sometimes it departs up to maybe 20%. And if we look at the spatial, it might be a little bit more. So the dotted line here is the Indian monsoon rainfall, and the solid line is the Nepal monsoon rainfall. We try to see how they correlate with Southern Oscillation Index. And when we did the spatial coverage, this is for the excess. So the most of the area, during the excess rainfall. But when we look at the deficient years, that means those years with the negative SY, then that we see, many of the areas, more than 90% of the area are recording the negative departure in precipitation, and that means during the during the ENSO period, normally what we receive is the most of the country has a deficit rainfall, and that is very significant in that one. And recently in 2024, there is a paper by some of our colleagues in Tribhuvan University that the precipitation concentration variability and its association with geographical factors and ENSO over Nepal from 1990 to 2020. And they also show the same kind of a relationship that when we have ENSO, when there is ENSO, the precipitation over the country, Nepal, is deficit. And along with this kind of the rainfall act, when we have the excess rainfall and a deficit rainfall, it gives some of the the very unwanted disasters that we see it. And this is the very recent one that we see in this, in September month. We have I think that yesterday our colleague Mr. Manjit from Nepal also mentioned about the heavy rainfall in Kathmandu. In Kathmandu, almost all the stations within the Kathmandu broke its record, and the 24-hour precipitation was more than 200 millimeter, and in some cases it is 300. So and in that way, and this is the gorge from where all the water from the Kathmandu Valley drains out, and so we can see how the water is coming out of that one. And this is in the Kathmandu Valley. Most all of these, these are the tunnels that they use for the agricultural purpose, and all are under the water. And this is not only in Nepal, it is happening because during this that year we see in India, also in Bangladesh, so this kind of disasters. And so with this, I would like to touch upon, because we look at how the monsoon is changing and how it is responsible for the water-induced disasters. But the climate change have a very significant impact that we have been seeing in the cryosphere, in the snow and the glacier regime. And if we look at this picture, this is the picture of the glaciers in the Hidden Valley. We call it Rikha Samba Glacier. This glacier is located behind the main Himalayan belt. That way, it is between the Himalaya and the Tibet. So it is a very, very dry area. And this glacier, this picture is about 1974. And in Nepal, so this is the Dhaulagiri region and in the Hidden Valley. And this is what we saw in 1974 when we went there So I was also the part of the expedition. So we stayed there for 4 months at the height of 5,500 meters. So I think then we explore this glacier very much, taking observation, 24-hour observations of various parameters, including the energy budget and the type of precipitation, etc. Then, we saw it in 2016. The glacier has retreated. If you look at this patch here, it has really retreated. And now the recent pictures that we saw in 2022 is much more, the glaciers becomes much more reduced. And when these glaciers recedes, we have some kind of features like the glacier lakes. So as the glacier recedes, so we have the formation of the glacier lakes, and these glacier lakes are the potent, the danger for the when it bursts out, that all the water drains out, and the villages, the villages downstream will be very much affected. And if we look, some of the recent happening, this one, that is in the 16th August of 2024, that we have the Gulf occurring. There is a group of lake there in this. This is a Thame catchment near the Solukhumbu. So, and this is the lake from where the water drains out, and it was 0.38 million cubic meter before the Gulf, the glacier lake outburst flood. Then after the flood, it was about 0.04. So almost 89% of the water is drained out of this Gulf. Actually, this Gulf occurred because one of the lake upstream of this lake, from that lake, it started. It is the cascade effect that have with one in having this growth event here, and it is very catastrophic. And if we look at it, this is in the beginning, before the growth, and after the growth, this is such a devastating scenes that we have seen. It has affected all the many houses. It has displaced many people and the villages, and the government has, and there is a systematic, the study is going on. Still, it is going on, and some of our friends in the initiation of the Home Ministry, this disaster management, NDRRMA, disaster management organizations. So they are in the field to look at, to assess again all the things, and to understand the real, the mechanism, the dynamics, that why it happened, and what are the effects from these things. I think this is what I think yesterday Mr. Manjit also mentioned. Okay, no, wait a minute. Okay, so these kind of a Gulf event, the effect of climate change in the glaciers has a very big impact. If you look at the hydropower project, which I think is the clean energy that we see it, the green ones are the planned one, but already there are so many hydropower plants located in this area, and especially in this Hindu Kush area, and the glaciers are one of the important resource for this one. So anything happens to the glaciers, whether the glaciers is retreating or the glacier lakes are flooding, both are very detrimental for the hydropower plants. Okay, I don't know what I did. Okay. Just a minute. So, most of many mountainous regions, this is not only in Nepal, but in most mountainous regions are heavily dependent on the hydroelectric power. So, for example, in Nepal, it is 93% in Nepal, and the 100% in Bhutan and in Norway. And these are some of the statistics, which is, I think, very much important to look at. and because in the context of the glacier resources. And generally, climate change is expected to increase the frequency and the magnitude of the glacier hazards, so which is likely to increase the risk of flash floods and debris flow capable of damaging hydropower plants. It is not only in 2024, in 2023, also we have such kind of heavy floods, which really affected the many of the hydropower plants. So these glaciers and snow are not only, it also have a impact in the tourism. 8% of our country's gross domestic GDP is contributed to the tourism, and the tourism is very much affected. The snowy mountains and the snowy glaciers and plays a very important role in that tourism for the tourists to come, and it has supported lots of jobs for the people. And these are some of the things that we have discussed. Now, I was just to look at in the COP29 outcomes and the climate change. When we look at the COP29 and its outcome, when you look at all the websites, we see that there is a big breakthrough in this COP29. Of course, there are in the financial initiatives. I understand that, and I think Mr. Manjit Dakal will be. I think he knows much more about this one, since he is one of the participants, negotiator from Nepal side, and we are happy to see such young people, taking part in that kind of a platform. So in the financial initiative, maybe I think, which is a very good one, taking in regarding this, the carbon trading and this loss and damage. Of course, it is necessary, but at the same time, it is also necessary for the reduction of the GHG emission, which I think we are not able to see it. I mean, as a student of the climate change, we wanted to see the intervention in the main root of the climate change, regarding, namely the GHG emissions, but which we are not seeing. What we are seeing in the COP29 or in the COPs, this one and before also, that there is much more talk on the financial initiatives and also in the emission reduction, but the emission reduction is not happening. And if we look at, the recently published in the last month, the Climate Action Tracker, we see that, the world is far off track of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Definitely, I think as we saw before, I think we are even this year, we are above 1.5 degree Celsius, which is the target. So if we look at it, with the current policies, because the policies are very much important, and the COP event is very much important in formulating that kind of the policies, which can bind the nations to do some good things like GHG emissions, but which I think is yet to be seen. And if we look at, this is current policies, still we will be having this, more than 2.5 to 3 degree Celsius range. It is much more than the Paris, the agreement the limit that the Paris Agreement has put. So we are way behind. Our Earth is way behind. So I think these are some of the things which I think is very much important to look at it. So out of which I think there are good aspects that has come out of the COP29, but there are some aspect which has yet to be addressed. I think which has not effectively addressed, in this COP and also the preceding COPs. So I would like to end my presentation by saying that the scientific evidence is overwhelming. We will continue to see more climate records and more intense and frequent extreme weather events impacting society and ecosystems. until we stop emitting greenhouse gases. And this one is not happening. This one is not attained by the COP. So I think that the world leaders have to think about this one very much. And in the last, I would like to share this website because I'm also the scientific planning group member of this Asia Pacific Network for Global Change Research, because it is a funding agency, and for the researchers, especially we encourage the early career researchers so to take part in the proposal submission. We have about $45,000 per year. So that can be in the research as well as in the capacity building. So if we are having some kind of a conference or we are going to a workshop, then we can use that kind of resources. And in that website, there are many reports that have to deal with the global climate research. So I think it will be very useful resource, I think, for the young scientists who are participating in this session. So with this, I end my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for such a nice presentation. And we agree, as Professor JS also said the first day, that we all are responsible. We cannot put blame on any others, right? We all are responsible for this global warming or the climate change, which is happening. Yeah. Changes event. So now the floor is open for all the youngsters to have interaction with Professor Madan, because he has given such an insightful lecture on the glaciers, what is happening in the Himalayan region, and many more. So I think you may have a lot of questions. So please raise your hand to ask questions, or maybe you can type on the chat box so we can read your questions. Please.
Rishikesh.
Yeah. Rishikesh, please go ahead. Unmute yourself. Unmute your.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. My question is that you have shown monsoon withdrawal and monsoon onset. The one graph I have seen, sir, in your presentation. So how can we get data about monsoon withdrawal and monsoon onset data sets, sir? My question is that, sir.
You mean the dates of monsoon onset and withdrawal?
Yes, sir. How can we get exact dates, sir?
No, that exact date. I can share if you are interested. I can share. So maybe you have put your email. Is this Rishikesh? Is this your? This is your. I see your email address in the chat box, right?
Yes, sir. The Rishikesh.232202010002 @user.ac.in. This is my correct.
That I think, yes. That I think I can send you the information. No worry.
Thank you, sir.
So in this address, I will share it because the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has published it's publicly, so I can share that with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, most welcome.
Yeah. So there is one more question in the chat box for you. How can universities and research institutions collaborate with policymakers to bridge the gap between research and action?
Wow. I think this is very pertinent question. But the thing is, it is very difficult sometimes to have dialogue with the policymakers. Maybe because as we are working on this climate change, suppose I have been working for now almost 50 years. As a meteorologist, I started still working, and this will go on. And even the research institutions, they have a good memory. They have been working for many years. But for the policymakers, the problem is, that the time of I mean, their timeline will be maybe 4 to 5 years of the timeline for the policymakers. And normally, I think most of the places, you don't have that kind of memory. So I think it is very difficult, but still, I think what we have been doing that whenever we have this kind of a situations, then we talk with the policymakers, with the government, and then now suppose the case of this Thame, this is a glove event, the recent one but in that one, whenever that happened, then there was a very good collaboration with the policymaker, and the policymakers also came in the front to to look at the matter very, and so they gathered the people. So we were there was a group of people from different faculties, scientists as well as the policymakers. Then they decided and they discussed about how this happened and what can be done if such thing happens in the future. So I think it is coming a little bit slowly, but I think it is whatever is happening in the university, because the university is the research hub. So I think whatever is happening, so they should keep it, they should also, they publish the articles, no doubt about that one, but they should also publish separately, which I think the policy makers can understand, because the policy makers normally, they never go through these technical papers. So in APN, when we ask the researchers, we always ask the researchers to have some kind of a policy briefs, so that whatever the results that we got it from our research should be usable for the country. And the policymakers are the one who does that one. So I think we should have that one, and it is difficult, but I think we should have some kind of a customized report for the policymakers so that they understand. So this is some of the ways, I think, how we can bridge the gap between the scientists and the policymakers.
Yeah. So I have a question, that we see in many glaciers in the Hindu Kush mountain range that are expanding towards the northern side. Do you have any such evidence or observations in Nepal also, so that the northern side the glaciers are expanding?
No, actually this expansion of the glaciers, expansion or not receding, that I think we saw it in the Pakistan areas. But in Nepal side, even behind the Himalayan region, in the lee side of the Himal, the one that we saw, the Rikasamba glacier, it is the lee side, but still I think we don't see the expansion of the glaciers in our regions. But I think there are very few cases. Mostly, I think 2 or 3 cases in Pakistan that we have seen in the Hindu Kush regions. Of course, I think in the lee side, just at the lee side, if there are glaciers, the rate of melting is not that much. But still, I think most of the glaciers are receding.
Mm-hmm. Like Karakoram anomaly. So that you do not
Yes.
know the nature of Karakoram anomaly in Nepal. Okay.
I don't have much information about. I think most we don't have that kind of the expansion of the glaciers in Nepal.
Okay, thank you, sir. There is another question. I think Manjeet has raised his hand. Could you please
Okay.
unmute? Manjeet?
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I think this was really very, very insightful, comprehensive presentation. Also gives a very full picture in terms of where we are. I just want to pick from the context that you said about the recent outcome of the COP. Yeah. So I think as you rightly mentioned, obviously, in terms of all this work that we do, evidence that we present, there hasn't been a lot of the kind of the urgency hasn't been built to that extent. Even in a context of climate finance, the achievement this time was not to the level that was expected. The need for the developing country was annually 1.3 trillion US dollar, and the decision was made to provide 300 US dollar,
Billion,
300
yeah.
billion US dollar
Billion.
per year, and also mobilizing from various sources, which could also include loans. And which does not fit very well with the climate change context, but as you rightly said, sir, the emission reduction has not been very much in a priority in the recent years. Uh, this may be also because the global context has been changing from when the UN Convention was adopted. Uh, Particularly this year, almost all the agenda related to emission reduction, they couldn't conclude, they couldn't come up with any outcome, and the
Yeah.
discussion has been postponed for the next meeting. There are jargons like the mitigation work program, global stocktake, just transition. So in many of these items, there wasn't any outcome. So that I think that gives us like some level of frustration. But overall, at least there is one hope that. What countries have submitted in their target called the nationally determined contribution, if all of them are implemented by end of 2030, the global emission will go 0.3% below 2019 level. But that also gives us a hope that all this international convention has given has at least mobilized that effort across the country. Just want to share one final point in terms of whether 1.5 degree has been breached, what we have listed in the Paris Agreement. The way it is understood in the policy world, in the Paris Agreement, uh, any temperature increase in 1 year or 1 month is not counted as the target that has been set in the Paris Agreement, because it's a long term target. So there can be an overshoot for a few years in the middle, but the ultimate objective, obviously, is to bring this to 1.5 degrees Celsius. So as you rightly said, the 2023 was the highest on the record, and now I think the recent science is saying that 2024 could set another record on the row. But still, there is a hope that the politician or the policy world will understand where the target has to be achieved. But overall, sir, I think it was very insightful, and I was also very impressed with the context of the ENSO that you have added, which we usually overlook and only talk about the human-induced climate change. So it is more of observation and maybe appreciation to what has been said. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Jayashree, can I talk?
Please, sir, please.
Yeah, I think, Manjit, I think that was very nice. I think, you have seen the negotiation process. So I think you are much more aware of this one than us. But I think definitely when we talk about this, I'm also very much, as a student of climate science, I'm very much disappointed to see, world leaders are there, but, I don't know why, it looks like, that Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manjit.
Yeah, so there is another question from for you. Like we were, one of the person was talking about the collaboration between the universities and the institution. So Asfar, can you show me the name? Yeah, that's Hussein. He is asking, sir, as we have observed, the impacts of climate change are largely transboundary in nature. How can countries collaboration effectively to manage such widespread climate related changes?
Yeah, I think if you ask me, what I say is I think we all should be a little bit liberal in exchanging our data. Because if we wanted to do research, we need the data. And that data is in most of the places, it is very, very hard to get. So I think it's very, very, because so I think this kind of transboundary within the region, I think suppose in South Asia or Southeast Asia, I think we should have that kind of mentality that to share our data. At least, I mean, if it is not the very high resolution data, at least the low resolution data can be shared. Like I think we have developed this. I mean, we have created this 5 kilometer grid data from the Middle East to the Southeast Asia, and which I think is in the website. So sure that these are the data set. And recently last year, I think we had a project with APN, and we also generated, the Pakistan, India, and Nepal. So we also generated 5 kilometer grid data. So that is also available. So I think this kind of a thing is going on, but still, I think the ground truth, we need to have some kind of observation data from the country. So I think that is very important to have that. And once we have that, then there should be a collaboration between the institutions. And another one, in AP, for one country, there should be more than three. There should be three countries, and it should. So I think that kind of attempt is very, very fruitful, and it is working really good. So I think definitely, I think we should have that kind of. So first, I think there should be a free exchange of data, which I think maybe I am also very skeptic whether it will be possible or not. But if we don't even get a high resolution, then even the low resolution data also we should be satisfied with that one, and we should have some kind of a collaboration with the institutions, among the countries. So yeah, that is my idea.
Yes.
Thank you.
Completely agree. I completely agree with you. We should have such kind of collaborations, open with us, open to share our data. We
Exactly.
need that. We want to work on the transboundaries. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. Again, I would like to thank you, and thank you so much, Manjeet, for active participation and a lot of questions you yourself have answered. So thank you so much, both of you. So we go ahead with our next presenter of the day, Professor Harun Chaudhary. So now I will request Professor Abdul Harun Chaudhary. He is a professor and former head of environmental science at Kunlun University, Bangladesh. He has dedicated his career to understanding and addressing critical environmental issues. Since 1993, his research has focused on the ecological health of our planet, advocating for sustainable resource management and tackling climate change. Dr. Chaudhary's expertise extends beyond academia. He has actively shared his knowledge by authoring over 65 research papers and books. His dedication has been recognized by prestigious awards, including the Bangladesh Academy of Science Gold Medal. He has also served as a valuable resource for organizations like the Japan Broadcasting Corporation and the National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan for Bangladesh. He has actively participated in the shaping environmental policies by working with the IUCN and serving as an environmental specialist for various government and non-governmental projects. Dr. Chaudhary's extensive experience, research contribution, and dedication to environmental education solidify his position as a leading voice in promoting a sustainable future. So, sir, I would like to invite you for your lecture of the day. Professor Chaudhary.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Actually, I would like to present on the impact of climate change and its action plan in Bangladesh. Basically, you know that Bangladesh is one of the vulnerable country due to the different types of climatic changes impact on happening in Bangladesh. I just would like to say that you heard the name of the different type of super cyclone, including Cedar Isla, as well as also very recently Amphan and also other affected on the southwest coastal part of Bangladesh. In addition to that, sometimes there's a sudden influx of tidal surge from upstream country, like that is our surrounding country of India as well as Nepal. The water flow is coming and we are facing the problem of sudden influx of the water. In addition to that, due to the change of the climatic condition in different western part of Bangladesh's rainfall is decreased. As a result, some area is a desertic condition. I think it is a mixed climatic impact zone in Bangladesh, and I think I just would like to show some impact on that. Overall impact on this climate change is damage and losses of population, health, drinking water. Drinking water, as like as that also housing and infrastructure, food and agriculture, sources of fresh water, education, industry and commerce, transport and communication, as well as overall environment. Direct negative impact is social impact, death of people, loss of houses, increasing scarcity of food and drinking water, loss of occupations, increased health hazards, etc. Direct negative impact on economical impact, which is death on domestic animals, loss of agriculture crops, loss of cultivated fishery, loss of valuable plants, damage of infrastructure. Indirect negative impacts are actually social impacts, increasing migration. Some people are migrating from affected area to other places for their food, increasing number of husbandless women, increased social conflicts, loss of education, increased social crimes, decreased social security, malnutrition of children, increase the number of poor people, etc. Indirect, there is negative impact is loss of land fertility, loss of habitat for plants and animals, increased price. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Excuse me, sir. I think you have forgotten to play your slides. We can't see your slides.
You are not seeing the slides?
No, sir. No. We can see your screen, but not the slide. We can see the files which are displayed on your screen, but not. If you can just your presentation.
Okay. I'm again sharing. Actually, I'm sharing the presentation. So yeah. I'm going again. Okay.
Click your present. Okay. Yeah. Click on your presentation.
Yeah. Here they are showing me the presentation, but I could not understand.
Maybe you can close and.
Okay. I started it.
Sir, actually, you have to select the window. Actually, you have selected the screen. Can you select the window? Close sharing and open it again and select the window and select the PPT window. Then it will be visible.
Yeah, stop sharing. Okay, I am going again. Okay.
Again, sharing. Click on the window.
Yeah, I am trying. Okay. Yeah, I am trying. I'm trying.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Select the PPT window.
Share. Yeah. At first, share screen. Go to window.
Do not
Go
share
to
your
the folder.
at the window, sir.
You have to share the
Yeah,
window.
window.
Click on the PPT window.
PPT window. Can you hear?
No, we can't see. We can't see.
Still, we can't see her.
We can see your folders and file. Yeah.
Okay, you can get the folder and files. But I'm opening the folder, but PPT, but it is not showing why. But here showing stop sharing or like this. I could not understand. Okay, I'm trying again. Please give me the time.
When you click on the share button, there is two options: screen and window. Click on the window, and you will get like what and all the windows you have opened. There, select the PowerPoint slideshow. Sure.
Yeah, I am doing same thing. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, again I am sharing the window. Yeah, window. Okay.
Window and select the PowerPoint window where you have opened that one.
PowerPoint
window.
Okay, at first I have to open the. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute.
So you go to share, click on share. Yeah, and then there are two windows will open. One is
screen and window.
And then
click on window.
Click on the window.
There it will show what and all you have opened. Select the PowerPoint.
I did it, but these are not working actually. Okay, I'm trying again, please.
Yeah, actually.
Give me the time. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm giving the window code to stop select sharing. No, these are not working actually. Enter the screen, enter the screen. Window. These are some problem arises, I think that. Can you give me 1 minute? I just would like to start again the actually team.
Sure, sir.
Sure.
Oh, sure, please. Sorry for inconvenience.
So in the meanwhile, if any of our youngsters have any question with the earlier speaker, please raise your hand and we can have a discussion on.
Maybe I will take some time to talk with Rishikesh, because Rishikesh asked me about this onset and withdrawal date. I sent it, Rishikesh, but with your mail, I am seeing, the mail delivery fail or something like that. So if you can send me your other alternate email, I can send it.
Yes, sir. I have just wrote it, sir. kranand02019 @gmail.com. Sir, have you got it?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Back.
What happened to the Bangladesh?
Yeah, he joined, but he's not able to share the screen. Yeah, share the slides. Yeah, so he's just logged out and trying to do it. He's here. Yeah. We can see.
Now we can see, sir. Now we can see. Sir, it came and it went.
Okay.
Yeah, we could see you.
Now can you see? Hello?
No, it went actually.
We were able to see your screen just a couple of seconds back, but now nothing is visible. Maybe if you can repeat the same process.
Okay, I am again sharing. Okay, please. Wait.
Share. Yeah.
Okay. No.
Yeah, go to share and then window. Click on the window and open your PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, yes. Can you see it?
Came, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
Okay. May I start now?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Already I mentioned that what is the problem in Bangladesh. So just I would like to show you the next slides. Okay. Overall, this is the impact. Already I mentioned it. Now these are the indirect and there are some social impact on death, houses, etc. And there is some direct negative impact, economical impact, death of domestic animals, loss of agriculture crops, loss of cultivated fishery, loss of valuable plants, damage of infrastructure, etc. Indirect negative impacts are increasing migration. People are migrating from the affected area to other sides of the country, increased number of husbandless women, increased social conflict, loss of education, increased social crime, decreased social security, malnutrition of children, increase the number of poor people, etc. Indirect negative impacts are loss of land fertility, loss of habitat for plants and animals, increased price of all necessary products, increased transportation cost increase, economical imbalance, etc. Actually, positive, there is some, we would like to find some positive impact from our last more than 20 years study. There is some increased voluntary activities, increased adaptation capacity, increased compassion among the people, etc. Positive impact in economical, like develop new occupations, increase cash money flow due to the is a help from the different way, develop new infrastructure, etc. This is one of the migration status. Actually, red color is a nearby town, people are migrating, and there is a blue color is that they are migrating to others dry places in generally from that area, and for is a yellow color, basically they would like to go to the far distance of their own country. And sometimes some people are trying to migrate in India in a legal way, And this is one of the scenario of the total after the Ayla of in Bangladesh. This is the Ayla scenario. I am not going to the detail about that. Here is a very specifically mentioning the impact. What was happened in actually before the Ayla? It was a normal pond in the Ayla affected area. You know that Ayla also affected in West is West Bengal of India also.